Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Muriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Nima Akasha Zabiri, how are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. Good morning. I think it was premature of me to have thanked the tankers and the container drivers yesterday.
You rushed it.
I did not get home yesterday.
Oh, my God.
It was total lockdown. I went to about to Ojo to Volks. I turned, I couldn't get into the community. Everywhere was blocked. The whole of Amuodofin, starting from Second Rainbow into First Stack. It was just madness everywhere. Asha eventually parked the car. Thanks to, I've forgotten the security's name. Somewhere that was able to help me secure the car till this morning. Took a bike to pick my car. That's the reality of those of us living. They have videos. I'm waiting for the MPA guy to come and tell me we are doing everything possible. Let me do what to say. I have good news. My Rights Radio reached out to me.
Your Rights?
My Rights Radio is a radio station raising awareness on gender-based violence.
Oh, My Rights. Okay.
It's 30 years of their 16 days awareness campaign. I'll be hosting 8 days from Lagos, their Lagos studio in Ikoyi.
Fantastic. Well done.
So December, from starting Monday.
Well done.
Well done. Well done. Hi, dear Mariam.
I'm fine,
I love the beads.
And my hero, Muriah, give it to me. Look at me. I feel like
one of our looks for my mom's wardrobe.
Honestly.
And then she cuts the wrap line.
I didn't cut it. I just tied it shorter.
Make it very shorter.
Because I don't have Muriah's hips, so it didn't really form. So I had to make it shorter.
Now you have told everybody that Muriah has hips.
Anyway, yesterday I spent my day, the morning at Princeton School. Of course, yesterday, as we know, is the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls. And the school commemorates that day, and so their students were there. It was lovely to have a conversation with them. They sent their love to all the ladies. Muriah was supposed to be there, she couldn't be, so it was just amazing. I just love to see our Nigerian children, and it makes your heart feel a certain way, knowing that this is the Nigeria, this beautiful, young, bright, are going to go. So we need to do what we can to make sure that these young ones have a better Nigeria.
You can put things in that perspective. It will help you, because we see these children. If you go to the public schools in Lagos State, I've been to a few, and it's really bright. These are children that you just feel like, this is Nigeria. Is this Nigeria ready for these minds? Is this country ready for this mind? You know, it's really, really painful. How are you doing, BC?
I'm doing great.
I love your beats too. I didn't notice.
Now you notice. Thank you so much. So yesterday, I decided to surprise Oga. So I went to his office, I took him to dinner.
This office appearances.
So I just appeared. I don't better don't say anything. We just appeared. I took him to dinner.
I'm sure everybody in your office know the wife. They know you.
No, sometimes they get confused. Like, Madam, you're not... Is this Madam? I said, no, I'm side chick. You are supposed to be aging. Are you sure this is Madam? I said, no, it's side chick, number one side chick. So I went to Golden Gate. I didn't know it was Chinese. I didn't know. I used to see Golden, so I had a lovely meal at home. Was there, and my kids were calling. I didn't take the call because I know, Mommy, you did not take us. You did not. They don't understand that we need time. As a couple, we need time. 3 is a crowd, though. So we got home really late, and then we had to get ready for work the next day.
Nice. Any plans this weekend? This weekend, I don't know. I have a lot of work to do.
We have
today assignments, and I'm graduating next week.
Yay!
I can't wait. It's been a long journey, but we thank God we're almost there. All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, we're going to start with The Nation. Court, bandits are terrorists. Will probe PDP finances, says Ayu. Subsidy removal not intended to punish Nigerians, says Ngige. 22.7 billion naira cocaine intercepted at Abuja Airport. New COVID-19 variants found in South Africa, Hong Kong, and Botswana. I bought Ataga's laptop from Chidima, witness tells court. Okay, which are we starting with? Major headline? Who has that story?
So, fortunately, we have good news. A court in Abuja has, finally proscribed bandits, and they have a list of the bandits. Let me quickly take them that were proscribed as terrorists now, so we can then, take our war to them, our Tucano on them. They are Yan Bindiga Group.
Bendiga Group.
Help me, just be correcting me. Yan Taada Group. These two groups were taken to court by the Federal Ministry of Justice to get them proscribed, and they've successfully done that. The court also talked about how they must use strong methods to classify, their activities, activities as what it is, and so we have good news. Hopefully, we'll win that war, and then we continue to win more.
Okay, Mariam, you had a story?
Yes, this man, a 32-year-old man called Maduabuchi Chinedu. He hails from Obaha Okigwe village, Okigwe Council of Imo State. And he lives in Liberia and works as a miner. But he was arrested at the international airport in Abuja. He was found with 9.30 kg of cocaine on him, and that is worth over 2 billion naira. And he said that the way he got into drugs, every time they catch them, they make it seem like this is the one and only time I ever did it. He said that his mom needed money for eye surgery, and he had reached out to a friend who introduced him to a friend, who introduced him to a friend that gave him these drugs to bring, to transport, and then he was caught. It's good that, because I was saying that now they are naming them, calling their names to their village, so you know where they are, and then really sad. It's really sad, especially as we know that, I'm going to take the story somewhere else, we know the effect of drugs in the southeast right now.
Right.
With everything that's happening.
Okay, there was a human interest that missed 3-year-old.
So 6 persons have been abducted by gunmen in Niger. They said they were coming back from a market, weekly Beji markets, when gunmen attacked them in Shiroro Council of the state. The case was not reported, but on the radio, a listener called in on a particular show and reported what happened. And so the secretary to the Niger State government, Alhaji Ahmed Ibrahim, said he just heard it on radio, but now that he has heard it, even though it wasn't reported, they are going to be on it. They are deploying security men to see how they can rescue the persons that have been abducted. Also, a 3-year-old child was kidnapped in Ondo State. According to the story, the mother was just coming back from church, and then her kids opened the gates for her. She realized that the compound seemed empty, and by the time they got in, she saw some men with guns, and she felt they were the security people around. And then they asked her to come down from the car, dispossessed her of all the cash she had. They asked her to lie down, and then were taking something away. They took some things and then carried something. So in her mind, she felt it was a sack, only for her to realize that her 3-year-old was taken.
Really,
it's just a painful story.
So I have the Ataga story. There was a young man, he's a businessman actually, Mr. Ifeoluwa Oluwo. He was testifying in court at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos yesterday that indeed Chidima sold late Ataga's laptops to him. According to him, she sold it for 495,000 naira. And he said that she sold it on the 18th. And Ataga was killed on the 16th of June. And he said that he had collected all her data. That's what he was able to trace. That's how he got all her data. And once he saw her picture on TV, and he connected, he kept all the man's documents and all his details in the laptop. He didn't throw it away. And that's how he got all her details. And the SCID had invited his boss and himself for questioning afterwards.
I was saying to myself when I read this story, they have a procedure for buying used item in their business, because that's their business. Some people do legitimate used item business. Items, and so they took her details everything. They had a national ID, everything.
That's this man saving grace right now.
So that's my hand is clear.
All right, let's move on quickly to the Punch. Subsidy, FG may deduct 2.4 trillion naira palliative from the federal account and planned stocks. Picture of Lagos planning 3,400 housing units for workers, says Sanwo-Olu. 5,722 Nigerian specialists, 1,540 others practicing medicine in the UK. Kamini Babasuwe buried as family Islamic cleric disagree. Popular Buhari supporter killed, burnt in Anambra. Widow fingers errant ex-tenant. We were kidnapped, raped while traveling to Libya, says 21-year-old returnee. Trafficker caught with 2.7 billion naira cocaine, claims 1 million naira reward for mother's eye problem. Boko Haram has ready tools from today's 14 million out-of-school children. Okay, they are ready tools, yes, that's what Obasanjo was telling us. And finally, Nigerian Air FG to float. One IPO begins operations with 3 planes. Okay, go ahead.
The former President Obasanjo saying something that I believe to be very true, very, very true. He said that while speaking to participants of the Presidential Youth Membership retreat that was held at the Development Center at the Obasanjo Library in Abeokuta, he talked about, let me quote him, he said, a situation where we have 14 million children that should be in school that are not in school does not need an oracle to tell that in 10 years or 15 years from now, those will be where you will recruit pure Boko Haram members. And this is a fact. We cannot continue to have idle hands and abandon a system of, normalizing children out of school. Yesterday, they took a report about, they said out of every 10 families, 8 have to drop out because tertiary institutions are now extremely expensive. We need to sort out things and focus on the more important things.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, so the federal government yesterday announced that beginning from next week, it will start sending out requests for proposals to investors interested in owning shares in the proposed national carrier. So that's our Nigeria Air. And they are hoping that it will be quoted on the stock exchange. And Nigerians are allowed to buy shares in the airline. They're also going to commence with 3 aircrafts that are going to be leased. So they are saying that it will take about 5 years to get their own, to be able to purchase their own aircraft, that everywhere in the world, when you start a new operation, you have to lease aircraft. And by the time you start making profit, then you can purchase your own. So I wanted to mention the percent that we're going to get for Nigerians that are interested in buying shares. 46% stake are exclusively for Nigerians, 5% for the government, while 49% for strategic equity partners, which are supposed to be like foreign investors. And they're going to, by the time they release the proposals, then you come with what you're offering the government, and if it makes sense, you have an agreement. And we're going to be buying the shares like you buy bank shares, so over time, by the time it goes to the IPO, we are able to start making returns.
I have a story.
Yes, go ahead,
Data gotten from the British General Medical Council shows that no fewer than 5,722 Nigerian doctors who are specialists are practicing in the United Kingdom. It also shows that 1,540 general practitioners that were trained in Nigeria are also in the UK, working. Just, a large number. We've constantly taken stories of our Nigerians taking interviews in Saudi Arabia, I think, and then there's the UK. There's just such a large number. And the Minister for Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, had proposed once that we should have a 9-year bond for health workers. So what it means that for 9 years you would, make sure you work here before you can travel abroad. They had an interview with the Medical and Dental Consultant Association of Nigeria. He said that one of the push factors for Nigerians always leaving our country to go elsewhere is that, first of all, the Nigerian work environment is hostile to medical doctors. The Nigerian security situation is hostile to Nigerian citizens themselves. He said that infrastructure is poor, equipment is obsolete, drugs and supplies are out of stock, and the personnel are few, overworked, and underpaid. And so that's why we have people just leaving.
So congratulations to Lagosians. The Immortal Workers City is underway with 20 hectares of land in Immortal Ikorodu, and it's been, the plan is being commissioned by the governor of Lagos State for 3,400 housing package that will be available both to the public and private sector workers. And it's going to be a Lagos homeowners mortgage scheme where you'll be paying monthly, but to be spread out for 15 years, which is a good thing. So, we know we're talking about housing issues, but I'm happy that...
housing was launched.
Yes, Ibishi Housing too was launched. So that's, I think, about 400 and something housing units that were launched yesterday. So it wasn't specified here in this report.
You know how you hear these stories and you think, wow. But yesterday I was reading comments and people...
We're not happy?
Yes.
We're not happy
about it. They didn't think it was
process.
the best way of the government to, invest in
money. Did they suggest anything?
I don't know.
It's important to hear how...
Housing is
get Nigerians feedback.
I think it's a good thing for government to do. Well, let me quickly...
We have to run. We have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we have one more story in Punch. Yes, Nima.
Electrical KK, a young man was killed in Anambra State, in Demili North, local government area of Anambra State. And this was reported. His wife is talking to the Punch. According to her, her husband was killed by a former tenant who wanted back his 2 months' rent because he passed out before the end of his the period of his tenancy. And he came several times to confront her husband. He had reported to the DSS. He called this young man, he took his account, he wrote a statement and, an undertaking to stay away from the family, but he kept coming back. On one of such occasions, he came with boys who macheted the man to death and burnt the body in the compound. Until now, he's not been arrested. The police public relations officer of Anambra State was spoken to, and he said that, this is a serious matter that we are working well. It's under investigation. We've not, I don't have something to say to you. Give me time to get back to you. This is not a matter that should be taken with levity. If the person is identified, and easily there are witnesses who can identify what happened, I think he should have been arrested before he absconds, and we are looking for him on wanted list. Okay,
moving quickly now to Daily Sun. No rest until insurgents, bandits are crushed, says Buhari. Federal government's bailout funds to states hit 1.7 trillion naira. Oil spillage, FG talks tough, vows to punish oil companies. FG Mall's special court for sexual violence cases. PDP, I'll probe past administration, says IU. Panic and strange disease kills 20 in Ebonyi. And House of Reps gives NDLE others marching orders on Unkpuru Miri, that's the anti-drug agency, intercepts 2.7 billion naira.
Yeah, so in the House of Reps has given NDLE the same marching orders and other security agencies to make sure that all the dealers and manufacturers in crystal meth are arrested and prosecuted quickly, given the effect that it's had on people it has on people who take this, especially in the southeast. They're saying that it's affecting the youth. It affects them mentally, of course, from use, and that they've become a burden on their families and the society at large. And they've also asked the NDLEA to start a campaign on sensitization on the effect and the impact of the use of crystal meth. This is really scary because there was one time, a long time ago, I watched a video of how crystal meth affected a whole community in the United States. Like from one house to the other, you had people either cooking it, some people using it, that whole place, just children just living without aim and purpose. We don't want that to be our story. And so they're saying also that they've resolved to increase the budget for NDLEA so they're able to step into their role, better.
Right. There's also a complaint that, some foreign companies are coming here to set up meth companies. Wow. I think they should start to shut them down, find them out and shut them down.
Yes, so bailout funds are given to the 36 states to cushion the effects of recession. Has gotten up to 1.75 trillion. They are saying that these funds did not get a nod from the House of Assembly, but I don't know, the National Assembly, but I don't know how that passes if it doesn't get a nod. However, former Senator Dino Melaye had a press conference and he was asking why the federal government is not asking questions how the money is given before for these bailouts were used by the states. That seemed to be in a hurry to just give them loans and everything. Also, the executive director of Anti-Corruption Network is also asking why the federal government is planning to borrow another 656 billion for bridge financing facility to the 36 states. Each state is to receive 18.2 billion from the facility. So they will help them afford the repayment of previous bailout facilities, namely the salary bailout, excess crude facility, and budget support facility given to them by the federal government. And the federal government is also not, querying them and asking them how these monies are being deployed. And they are saying that if this amount of money is being given to states, that the federal government needs to answer a question: why are they in a hurry to give them this money? Are they using it as a cover for money laundering, or trying to pass cash around? And if Nigerians actually are being given this, this sort of money comes to their states, we should have a better standard of living, scholarship for children, good health care. But so far, so good. We're not seeing any of these, end results in the citizens. So why do we keep collecting this money?
I wanted to take the Ebonyi story.
Oh, really?
Yes, the panic in Ebonyi State after strange disease killed 20 persons. So, just briefly, the disease was identified as gastroenteritis, and it's been, according to the report, not fewer than 20, but the person in charge of ICT in Ebonyi State insists that there are just 9 persons that were killed. Now, if this is ravaging a community, they took samples from them sometime in the past and they tested and it wasn't cholera. They must test whatever it is that is affecting them in their intestines and causing this kind of death.
So I had a story which wasn't very inspiring. Minister of Women Affairs, Mrs. Pauline Tallen, and she was just reiterating the fact that we need special courts for sexual offenders, sexual violence offenders. I mean, this is not something new. We've been talking about it for a while. And I mean, she was just reminding us of what we know, that justice delayed is justice denied, because she regretted the slow approach to justice against perpetrators of violence against women. We know this. So I was hoping that the article would be about the fact that they've started the process and they are concluding, and now we have special courts. But what she's saying is that they will continue to push for special courts for sexual offenders. Moving on quickly now to Vanguard. Buhari to service chiefs. Go after terrorists and bandits now. I feel like I've seen this headline a million times in the past 2 years. Like, we keep saying the same thing. Go now. Today's the last day. And that's it. That's it. That's how it ends, yeah? Okay, all spills, stiffer penalties coming for all firms, says federal government. I regret deceiving my dad to raise 0.8 million for Libya trip, says returnee. That's about 800,000 naira. Yeah. We've paid 11.76 billion naira to over 539,000 bank depositors. End incessant bank robberies in Osun, reps tell IGP. How I worked with Abdulsalami to thwart Obasanjo's third-term bid, says Thabo Mbeki. And why Sanwo-Olu federal government can't reject Lagos, hashtag NSAR's report. Okay, any stories in Vanguard?
Yes, so the young lady, 23-year-old Omoniyi, who was a part of the 330 Nigerians that were recently repatriated in 2 batches. I think the last batch came in on Wednesday from Libya, was narrating her experience. And she said she regretted, lying to her father, collecting 800,000 naira from her father to start a business, and then going through the desert to Libya. He said by the time, how that happened was she lost her mom very early. She was living with her maternal relatives, and she felt she was being maltreated. And so she lied, collected money from her father, and went through the desert to Libya. And by the time, before they even got there, about 50 of them were raped. And finally, they took them to Libya. This happened in 2018. And then she started working as a prostitute. The plan was for her to, earn 120,000 naira monthly. But then she slaved for how many years? She had to pay up to 2 million for her to get freedom from her, master, and then started doing her own business. She wasn't long in her own business when police raided the place. All the money she had saved, everything was taken, and she found herself back in Nigeria. She did not finish secondary school before she left, and she felt that she was going to have a better life in Libya. And now she has lost, she can't even find her, she can't even trace her father's contact, to come back. She has lost her life, she's regretting, and this is more like, you can still make it here. So I was wondering, if your father can give you 800,000 naira, that means they're not that bad.
That time.
They're not that bad. You could have done something here with that amount of money.
You don't know what you've got.
Yeah, till you lose it.
That's it.
Well,
okay,
the
so
Minister for,
I was going to, let me take, okay, go ahead.
The Minister for State for Environment was talking about the Niger Delta communities and oil spillage in a way that, was not encouraging, but she was talking that, it's only comparable to Hiroshima, the damage that you can see in these communities. And they put together a stakeholder meeting with the people of Ogoni to see how the cleanup is going. And that one shocked me. But, that's it.
Okay. So the human rights lawyer, Femi Falana, was speaking yesterday. He was speaking to, when he received members of the Committee of Defense of Human Rights, visited him in Lagos yesterday, and he was telling them that that we are not unaware of the federal government's position on the #EndSARS report. However, we must remind ourselves that the white paper that we're expecting is just an administrative tool. Those members of the committee, this four-man committee, cannot change in any way or alter, modify, edit materials in the report. That all we're waiting for them is just to see the recommendations to the governor. And I don't think anybody expected them to modify or change. So. But he's just reminding us that the white paper is not legally represented. It's not a legal term in the law, and that it's just an administrative tool to implement what was being agreed on the.
Now, whatever needs to be challenged must be challenged in court.
Okay.
Let me just be serious
we have to
about
run.
the Minister
let me throw in something.
She recommended legal reviews.
Which one?
She made legal recommendations for curtailing the excesses of oil companies in Nigeria.
Okay, I'm not sure we have any more time. Any Daily Trust, any story that really jumps at us?
Well, yes, this is where the president was talking about, asking security to step up. Especially given all the kidnapping happening in the Kaduna. Why is she smiling? The Kaduna-Abuja road, especially, in the past few days. There was kidnapping on Sunday that led to the death of a former aspirant. And then there were armed bandits on that road again on Tuesday. They said for 4 consecutive days, these armed bandits have been on that particular road. This is a road that, a lot of people pass through to go from the north to the south and different other northern states. So, our president is saying, please step up and make sure this doesn't continue to happen.
When we were growing up, when you come with your report, and your father says, you know what, you need to sit up. If you've raised, you just sit up. Now, that doesn't mean anything. You have not communicated what sit up means. You just say sit up. And you have the child say, sit up, I'll sit up. That's what I mean. But you see, our president needs to understand that we've passed that age of you must sit up to break it down. This is what you want to do. I want you to do. I want you to recruit 10,000 more security operatives. I want you to train them within 3 months. I want them to be deployed to A, B, C, D. I want these reports, everything. Give us it down. Break it down.
No, but to be fair, those sort of meetings, they have that.
They have it, but I don't want the report telling me they'll just sit up.
Okay, so our reporters, please tell us
some of the change. But we trust our doctors, so we've reached a part to
we have to run.
Okay.
We have to. That's all we can take. We'll go on a break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show to discuss how Shuttlers is solving the inefficiencies in Nigeria and the new investment and growth plans is the co-founder and CEO of Shuttlers, Damilola Olokeshusi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much.
So when I read about Shuttlers, I was like, wow, this is so innovative. Now, what I read is that your bus company, people can actually book a seat on the buses to certain destinations. I'm like, in these Lagos? Please tell me about that.
Okay, so first, we're a tech and transport company because we don't own the buses.
Okay.
We are asset light, but we onboard them on our platform, we vet them and make them available to customers through the app.
Okay.
So Shuttlers, we provide comfortable and affordable transportation service to professionals, organizations, individuals, fund seekers. In Lagos, now Abuja, and then other cities in Nigeria.
So why did you decide to found this sort of business, and how has it been so far? How long have you been doing this?
So personally, I've been doing it for 6 years, but as a company, 5 years. Why Shuttlers? It's a combination of so many things. My experience, so I was born in Lagos, but I moved to Ibadan, so I'm not used to the hustle and bustle of Lagos. I moved for my university in University of Lagos to study chemical engineering. And I was shocked by the way people were using buses, jumping into the bus. That was one experience. Second experience, my sister was a victim of one chance. Thank God she was okay, but it was a very traumatizing experience. She would have been kidnapped. Another experience is that my third year, I then did one training when we were on long strike. And then I encountered, a training in Daystar, that's DLA. And then I heard for the first time, I was 19 at the time, heard for the first time what it means to be an entrepreneur, solving problems, how you can create value to your environment. So that changed my mindset, because the hope for me going to the university was to just study chemical engineering and get that good job. But that was like the breaking point for me. And I also attended another program around that year as well, where I saw some inspirational leaders. They were entrepreneurs, they were doing tech from the US, and I learned that, things like this are possible.
Yeah. Sometimes people, when they want to start a business, they'll be like, oh, bus. Nobody would ever think about bus. We have buses everywhere. People are jumping in and out. And they don't even look like they make a lot of money. So having Shuttlers, is there really a market for you? Are people really getting on that app? And are you making money for yourself and for the bus drivers?
So before the investments, we were profitable already, making money even without awareness. Like, we've been in business for about 5 years. We're doing it low key. We don't brand our buses. We didn't have money for marketing, so we couldn't do marketing. So even at the low key stage, we were profitable, moving people.
You had an app since then? Or just...
So we started an app from 2017. Technology is very expensive to build, but we're using WhatsApp. And calling customers through the phone, using emails to email them about our wallet system. So
let me sure I understand. So I work in VI, and I don't have a car. So I call you, I go to the app, book a seat on your bus, find out if you have a bus leaving maybe Oworonshoki to maybe CMS, for example.
Exactly.
So I then see that bus and I see, okay, they have 10 seats. I call my girlfriend, so let's book 2 seats. So we book 2 seats, we pay through the app, get then find our way to Oworonshoki bus stop. We have a seat booked already. So how do you know I'm the person that booked this seat?
So the driver has his own app as well. Sees the picture, there's a passcode too there that's on your ticket that you also see as well. When you enter, you check you in. You ask you for your ID. If you're a first timer, you check in. If you're a regular, so most times once you use it once or twice, you become a regular copy. Once you become a regular, it's just, oh, hi,
What happens if a person who's booked misses the bus?
So right now, what we do is that, we would give you like discounts to join another bus. But our goal is to ensure that every hour or every 2 hours, there's a bus available for you to join on that route. That's our goal.
Interesting.
But you can't find like this. How you take entire that?
I mean, I think it's one of the reasons why I'm into this business, because I really wanted comfort and I was not getting it. Cheap, affordable comfort. So at the point, I just finished university and, I couldn't afford to buy a car. My parents live in Ibadan, so I couldn't use their car. And I was stuck with downfall. And I wanted to always look good. I wear my white top and they will say, Auntie, your shirt is stained, or they'll scratch you, or you fight the conductor will change. I didn't want all of that. And I experienced using staff bus while I was interning an oil and gas company like a few years ago. Like, so it's only elite companies that can afford staff bus for their staff. So why can't we access it? Just like
so you saw a Nigerian problem. And you found a Nigerian solution. Please give her a round of applause. I like Nigerian brands like you. I like homegrown solutions like you. And we're so proud to meet you. Thank you very much for this job that you do. So now, is it just for individuals or can companies subscribe to you also?
Oh, companies are our faves.
Oh, but they will pay you. They will pay you.
So what we also did for them is we solved the problem for them. So before Shuttlers, if you have 50 staff now, and they live in like 10 locations, you probably need to lease like 10 buses, right? But with Shuttlers, you just need to buy 50 seats on our platform.
That's it. You make sure you...
Oh my God, that sounds so easy. Oh my goodness, why didn't we think of this? Oh my goodness, because
can we invest in
people should get Shuttlers so they'll come and be picking me.
People invest in this business.
I'm telling you, I can get off your bus.
And she lives in that very place. I'm more for Daphne. They always having trailers and
tankers.
So can you bring her here?
Yes.
Let us talk to them to come.
Some of the challenges that you have faced in this as being in a male-dominated
Yes.
industry, because I know that there was a time I met, there was a time I met a lady taxi driver, and she gave a lot of things and how the male counterparts were finding it difficult to really accept her. Have you faced any of those?
Yeah, so initially I always laughed, like, because initially when I was entering it, I didn't think that it was a male-dominated industry. It was until I entered, I'm like, wow, come, where am I getting this reaction? It was so, my mom is, I think I got it from her nature. She's a bold person. At home, we're all ladies. Like, we don't, okay, this is for male, this is for... When the chemical engineering, not thinking that, oh, it's a male-dominated industry as well. So going into it too as well, I didn't have that mindset that, oh, this is a male-dominated industry. But my first experience was when we went for a meeting, we were looking for boss partners. And when we went into the meeting and we saw all the men there were, all the people there were men, then I didn't even notice. Then the MD walks in and laughed. I said, wow, they're all ladies, and they all laughed. We laughed with them, but it didn't sink in till I left there. That, come, we are in a territory that is not really...
So how do they believe you? You're young,
you're beautiful.
What's wrong with this auntie?
You're not looking rugged.
So that was it. That was why it took us this long to, you know, because we had to prove that we're not just joking. I don't even blame people that did not believe us at first, because we didn't have any. We're first-time entrepreneurs. We didn't have money. We didn't have any traction to show that we could do what we said we were going to do. So we had to prove.
This is
over
so
time.
Beautiful. Oh my goodness, I wish I could be an investor.
But
How can we download the app? How can we download your app?
Please go on our website, if you want, shuttlers.ng, SHUTTLERS, or you can go on Play Store and look for Shuttlers, or you can go on iOS and look for Shuttlers. Download the app.
So you're going to be talking about your investment and your growth plan. So are you looking for investment? How much are you looking for? What are you looking to put it into?
So right now, we are closed for this round of investment.
Oh, wow, you're good.
Maybe next year, we'll open up another form of investment. But for our growth plans, we want to expand to other parts in Nigeria and then start with West Africa. But first, Lagos is a very, very big market. I know we like saying, no, we want to expand, we want to expand. We want to expand in Lagos first.
Lagos,
Catch them here first.
Yes.
So, you know, wow. This is good. So, I live in Badagry now. I don't have to worry because even Lagos State teachers have this. Because one of the issues we have in Lagos State, because I do some work with the Ministry of Education, some teachers find it so difficult to get to work on time. Because they're so far away and it's hard for them. So, if you work with the government of Lagos State, we can get their teachers to classes on time so that children can actually learn on time.
Yes.
That would be great stuff. Yes. Oh, that would be cute, man. We gotta make this. This Nigerian brand must work.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well done. I'm so proud of this.
Thank you.
So how can people download the app and start using?
So you can go on Google Play Store, search for Shuttlers. Shuttlers is SHUTTLERS. Or iOS is also on the store. Or you can just go on our Instagram page, Shuttlers, and you can send a DM to help, for assistance, and they would help as well.
Fantastic. That's all we can take on this. Thank you so much. Well done, Damilola.
Thank you.
I love it. Okay, let's go to a break. When we come back, move on to hot topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so it's our Friday. We like to have celebrity gist. When celebrities are talking, we try to pay attention to what they're saying and talk about it on Friday. So, Bibi Naija couple Teddy A and Bam Bam addressed the issue of couples checking each other's phones. They disclosed that they don't do that because it would be disrespectful rather than they value the conversation they have together. Now, is it an issue for you? Because we've had this conversation a few times and checking each other's phones. And I know that Mariam said that we should be doing some chewing gum topics on Fridays. So this is one of those topics that feel good Friday topics. Chewing gummy. You know? So in your view, I mean, and I don't know if any of us on this table have had this experience of, okay, should I check? You know that, should I or should I not? And you're thinking, I know there's something happening, but should I check or should I not check? I mean, has it happened to anybody? Or you just check without even thinking twice? Nima,
I only check for alerts.
Interesting.
I'm that secure, I don't have that time. I don't worry about those things, except comes to my notice. If my husband needs me to check his phone, he will tell me. In fact, there's no password, nothing. It's an open phone. So why do I want to go and be checking? There's nobody hiding anything. Why do wahala?
Mariam, thoughts on this?
I think it's a phase, different phases, and different ways how you feel in your relationships. Some people start off by constantly monitoring each other. You know, I don't like that constant monitoring and control of each other to every point, yes. So, but I hear that there are some people that do that. Maybe in the beginning of their relationship, they're trying to build trust and things like that. People are locking up their phones because they have some unfinished business and is lingering into this relationship.
Into this new business.
Yes, and you're trying to figure out where they are. But I think it's best really to just leave people with their phones. And I like the fact that, yes, we're married, yes, we're in a relationship, but you're an individual. You're allowed some things that are yours, your privacy, your phone, your password. But when you get to that point in your relationship where it doesn't even matter, you're so secure, you don't even realize there's no password on your phone. Someone can just, one person or the other can just pick up your phone and use it because it's not a big deal. But I know that it takes time, to get there for some people. And then for some people, it's the other way around. You start off open, your phone is okay and fine. And then eventually, people start putting passwords on their phones. Then you now find, people get upset about that. Okay, why are you now putting password? It wasn't that way in the beginning. What has happened and what has changed?
See your thoughts on this issue.
I wanted to give you people a small gist. So I remember when we just started our relationship, and there was just emails we had. There was no phone at the time, and WhatsApp and all that. So I happened to do some work for him. He had graduated, and then I stumbled into his email, and I saw one girl toasting him. I now sat down.
You see fire.
Computer center, what they call those places, that cafe. Sat down. I now type,
Replied her.
Yeah, finish. Okay, so for me, if he was the one asking the girl out, I wouldn't have an issue with the girl. I would have faced him. But when I read the conversations, like they had been exchanging emails, she was the one toasting and saying, I know you have a babe, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Give me a chance. Okay. I sat down. So when he finally came to school to visit me, first of all, he had passed the other lady's school. So she was in Uniben, I was in Delta State University. And that was, hey, you have a tiger as a girlfriend, oh. See all the mails, oh. Don't talk to me again and everything. So he came, he was like, Auntie, what did you do? Why did you have no business with that? I said, no, don't tell me that. He said, you know what, going forward, don't enter my email. When the phones now came, I don't want to see my phone. I will password my phone. You will password your phone. Nobody. And it's been like that. My phone is constantly passworded. His own is passworded. I don't bother about checking or if anything is about to happen or there are people around. I usually see the signs. And when I see the signs, I can start dealing with it without.
No, because if God wants you to see it, that's when you see.
We actually
see the signs.
There was a time when, for me, it was the PIN that earned me such a distrust. So I had the PIN to my husband's ATMs, and one time I just and he just thought, so we need to curtail certain things. So I noticed that he put a password on his phone, and I never bothered for one day to ask him what's your password. I just thought, Nima, you have some excesses, just enjoy your peace of mind. So I never bothered. And then suddenly he called one day and said, you don't have my PIN, you don't have my password, you're not even bothered. I was like, which one will person go do now? Because me, I'm just concerned about my peace of mind.
So I want to go back to what Mariam said a bit earlier, because you said about when you come together as in a union, you should still respect people's spaces. And I like to link that up to what we were talking about in the makeup room. Like, when you're on the bed, somebody wants you, your spouse wants you to cuddle up and just be lovey-dovey, and then I'll go, please, auntie, move, just give me space. Give me space. Or you want to use the bathroom together, want to use the same soap, same toothbrush. Honey, don't even go there.
That's not me.
That's so nice. So where do we draw the line between what is romantic and what is totally just not right?
Too much.
Yes. So because I will have that.
Yes. So let me go there. I think we all have our different personalities. And unfortunately, some people just want to do things and assume that once you're married, your personality should blend into my own. It doesn't work that way. So it brings a lot of friction. I expect that because we're in love, we should be able to use the same toothbrush, we should use the same cream, we should use the same toothpaste, we should use everything, we should be together. You know, if that person is not in that same boat, personality level with you, it's going to be a problem. So I have a different personality from my guy. My guy is the gummy, chewing gum, you know, toothbrush, the same toothbrush kind of guy, hugging to sleep. But once I'm about to sleep, I don't need any skin to touch me. I will back you. So he doesn't find it funny, like, cuddle me now. I'm like, I want to sleep. Because by the time I cuddle you, you sleep off, I still need like 30, 45 minutes to sleep. So you would have slept off and then you leave me hanging. So, auntie, uncle, move. You know, when the weather is hot, do not touch my skin.
Please don't even
My daughter will say, Mommy, I want to, no. My husband like, accommodate them, they are your children. I say, no, I need my space. Like I go, sometimes I hide in the toilet and lock my door because I don't want, and I need that space. But that's my personality. He's still trying to adjust to it, but he's beginning to understand that, okay, it doesn't mean she doesn't love you, but she needs her space. So it's about the personality. For some people, you may be lucky to get somebody exactly like you.
There's a young lady that was saying that no matter how hot it is, please, she wants her man to cuddle her through the bed. So, like, yeah, watching so much Hollywood movies.
It's not realistic.
It's not realistic.
No, if you grew up,
it's not realistic.
No, wait.
I don't want all these old
veterans.
Wait, Nima. Let me finish.
Let me land by points.
Married women. Okay.
You don't know who the type of person I am. But if you grew up where I grew up, where all girls had one room, you don't want to touch body to sleep. You know, but I love to be cuddled. And then in marriages, because everybody get married differently, for people like there are certain things that you must do to bond.
Build intimacy.
To bond with your spouse. A lot of things that we are talking about here are things that some couples must do to know each other, to, you know, to show their vulnerability, to eventually fall in love in marriage and a lot of things like that. So we shouldn't belittle them, but it doesn't mean that your personality will not eventually show up.
I mean, you're correct.
Yes, I understand where you guys are, and I'm in that place too. Personally, I feel sorry for my husband, because when I need to sleep, we have this, the bed is large. I think it was custom made because of our height. We're both really tall people. So my husband made sure that it's a bed that will accommodate our height. But the poor man always ends up at the edge of the bed, because I'll take the pillows, the duvet, everything. The poor man will go for towels. I like my space and I want a lot of space. I sprawl. I don't want anybody. But I also understood that in the beginning, so one thing is that, you know, we have stayed in this marriage for a long time, and, but in the beginning, you had to touch me. You had to hold and cuddle.
I have to feel your hand.
You see, we even talk about it now. He says, then his arm will be dead from my head up, you know. You have to hold me. And even if there's no, even if we don't hold completely, my foot has to be on your foot. Somehow there has to be that connection to show. And then when there's no body connection, for me, it's like, what has happened? What's going on here? What is happening in this marriage?
Me, in the beginning, I lie down on my house and try to cuddle. Like, after a while, you've been pushing me, like, my hand is hurting me. And I'll be like, what's wrong with this guy? So you just found the others, I'm sleeping. I'm thinking, I will feel so hurt. After a while, I got used to it.
You too, now see, sometimes we lose, you know, the bonds if one party likes to do it. So when I got married, my husband likes PDA. It's coming from you meet him outside with a kiss and all of these things. And me, for my conservative, I'll be like, who will kiss you outside? I better come inside if you want. So eventually, and he will come in, he will hug. There's this way he hugs. I get off the floor because I'm shorter than he is. I just started complaining at some point. You are choking me. I had my daughter and my hormones and everything. I missed it. And he was just, I couldn't communicate that. If he saw me, carry me back, you know.
We have to wrap on this conversation because there's not a serious topic I'd like us to touch on. But I think I also remember I shared this story in the beginning where her husband lived in, they are siblings. They grew up together, they stayed in the same room till secondary school. So they were very, very intimate. Me, I stayed alone. All my brothers had left. So I'm used to having my own soap, my own sponge, my everything. So we just got married. He opened his own soap. Me, I opened a new soap. He was wondering, why are we having two different bars? Like, yeah, I can't be sharing you. This is your own bar. This is my bar. So that is because a serious fight.
Serious fight.
We have to use the same bar. And it took me a long time, over a year, to say, okay, let me use your bar. You know, so sometimes if it happens like that, you have to eventually adjust to the person and find a middle ground. I think at the end of that, I think that summarizes what we're saying. That everybody, we are all individuals. When in a marriage, if it's what you need to show that connection, try to compromise with your spouse and try to do it to some degree.
Can I add a little thing?
Please.
Yeah, I think it's also okay to talk about it, because sometimes the person will not understand where you are at. So they feel you don't like this, probably because you don't feel this way. You don't feel in depth the way I feel. That's why it's easy for you to say no on these things. But if you communicate to say, this is actually my upbringing, this is how I grew up, this is what I'm used to, we'll find a way to try. But the days my head touches and I can't try, you to understand that this is who I am. It's easier that way.
Let's end on that. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before we move on to our topic, it's important for us, the ladies of Your View, to join all the Nigerians to celebrate two young ladies who did us proud. I think it's Faith Odunsi, the 15-year-old Nigerian student, beat China, US, UK, and others in a global math competition. Well done to her, Faith. And the other young lady is Tomi Singh Ogunobi. She beat 49,900 other prodigies from 170 countries to emerge one of the top 100 global winners in the $1 billion Rise Initiative. That's good. You know, as we clap for these young people, we also pray that
this country good for these children.
People, that is it.
Don't let them go and be using abroad, Canada, all of those places to develop. Let's all keep our brains.
I'm telling you, just thank God for them. Anyway, so another of those Friday feel-good topics. A controversial relationship expert, Blessing CEO, many of you know her on social media. She explained the reason why many women end up with bad men. According to her, most women don't value good men. They often see them as not attractive enough and sometimes boring. They are attracted to those ones that they are not boring, but after, they will give you top you know, the fine-looking, GQ, honey-looking, you know.
Yoruba
demon type. You now marry, you now he's punching you in the house. But what are your thoughts on this? Because as we are in this game called marriage and relationships and all that, it might be, we might know one or two things that people might look out for, you know, in this. What are your thoughts? You can call us on 081-270-53689, 091-390-76948. You can also send us messages on YouTube and Facebook. We'll be happy to read some of your messages. So, are the good men the ugly ones, or are the bad ones the fine ones? That's really the question.
It's not about fine.
It's not about,
Let me give you this story. There's this guy, I hope he's not watching. Oh my goodness, this guy. He was trying to date me then. He was year high. Right?
Right, stop this story.
Okay.
No, give us the story now.
She has given us before.
I've not heard it.
This guy tried. Hey, this guy was sure that I was his wife. He did everything to me.
You didn't like it?
I don't know. Like,
why? Because of the hair high?
I can't see. I can't see your head. I'm sorry. I just knew it was going to happen.
I was in trouble on Twitter before.
But I'm just saying, like, find your type.
All height matters.
Yeah. But you see, he was working at, was it NNP, one of those big companies, driving a fantastic car, you know, he was such a wealthy guy, but I just couldn't get over the height. I'm like, I can't, I need you to be,
okay. You know that I've seen how bad
I was clear. But today, I mean, he's still doing well. I'm just happy about it.
Just be a nice person.
He's a nice guy.
There was a guy who reached out to me through my Amira then to find a girl within school. I was then Amira, she had graduated. And he said the girl must not know who and what. She just must be interested. This is his name. This is his height. And he sent all these details. Okay. He had been badly beaten by tall girls in 16. So he doesn't want any girl who wants to know if she's... And we sort of introduced one of my seniors then, who I thought was eligible for marriage. They met once. And on her way back, she really liked him. He was short, truly. She was a bit taller than he is. She really liked him. But on her way back from Ibutemeta to Ikorodu, her phone dropped. She lost her phone. And so he kept sending her messages. After 2-3 attempts, he thought she had discriminated against him for his height again. And this poor lady kept calling me to reach him. And, you know, before we finally did the connections for them, everything already scattered. You know? So sometimes they are so badly, let's say that later in retrospect, it was so badly battered about it that, he just didn't trust anybody. No,
I don't want to focus on this conversation on height issues, but those guys are usually very responsible.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Let's go back to the good guys and bad guys. So, I think also this bad guy thing is a culture. There's this video that was put out recently. This was in the UK. They were interviewing young girls and asking them about bad guys and girls. They said they prefer bad guys, or bad guy is interesting, bad guy is this, bad guy dresses like this, and does that. Like, even if you know that this is how he is, eventually they're like, but, these are young girls, they were teenagers. And I think it has become a culture where we glamorize bad men, bad guys, people that don't treat you well, people that when they call you, they don't call you again till after 2 weeks. Like, yeah, make her pine for me, and everybody is excited about that.
It seems like Mills and Boons.
Yes, but that's it, Mills and Boons, where we are glamorizing the men that are not nice. But me, I've decided I'm advocate for kindness and kind men. Kind men are the business.
If you catch one,
young girls, you see that nice boy. Also, then there's the one that they say nerdy boy. So he's nerdy. He does not wear cool. He does not turn his cap to the side. His trouser is not sagging, And then you think that that's not exciting. All I know is that Mark Zuckerberg does not look like a bad guy. And look at who he is today. Do you understand? Look at them, Bill Gates. They were not bad boys-looking people. But look at where they are today. Go for men that are kind. Kind men are always there to support you. There's some conversations you not even have with a guy that is a nice guy.
What is even love without kindness?
You will not be having conversation of, you can't do this, you cannot be this, because you cannot. Even if he does not understand something, he will have a conversation to understand where you're going, where you're coming from.
Interesting you said that. It's so important, because I never really dated a kind person. I did all kind of people, but they weren't really so kind to me. And I think that was probably one of the things where that pushed me to that Abuja trip. So I was just looking for somebody now offered me perfume, and I was almost, got in trouble for that. So is that kindness when you're with somebody who just thinks about you, cares about you, sacrifices his own resources for you? That's kindness.
Yeah. What is even love without it?
What I know is that people marry or date at the level of their self-esteem. So you see people who are good. So there's a difference between confidence and self-esteem. Two different, like the poles are just two apart. You may be confident. You see a woman who has worked, who has earned, she has capacity, she has track record, and then she's still attracted to people who disrespect her. Because while she has confidence in her abilities, she does not respect herself. She still feels that she's not good enough. She's inadequate. And because we're energies, and back to that energy again, you would attract who you are. So the thing we need to start teaching our girls is to learn self-esteem, love who you are. If you love yourself, you will be attracted to people who love you, who see the way you pamper yourself and come and pamper you. See, this life, I did not come to suffer. I always tell people, I did not come to suffer. I came to cross-leg and enjoy. And one of the things my father did for me was to ensure that I had a healthy self-esteem. So when you now start dating, you see people, everybody will be coming to test now, who is this? I want like this. And I was easily sifted from 16. I was sifting them off. You disrespect me, go. You talk to me anyhow, go. You condemn my home. Maybe you come to my house and see that we don't have a fine house. You talk bad about me. I kept till I found somebody who did not need to understand my dreams, but just loved me enough to support them. When I found somebody was calling my husband recently, I was like, we didn't know you are like this, so we forhook you that time. He was not just me. I said, what they did not see, I saw a mile away. Because I was already in a place where I suffered a lot growing up. I suffered a lot growing up. If I write a book, I will sell out. I went through a lot growing up that I could not afford to have a man who disrespected me. I could not afford it. It was not there. So it's not like women like bad men.
I'm going to break.
All right, go on
Okay. You get some serious meat. You need to digest it and come and analyze it when we come back. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, before the break, BC gave us some serious hard nuggets, which hit me, it struck me hard because it just brought me to my own reality. You said something which I thought was profound. You said that we date and marry at the level of our self-esteem, which hit me so hard because I remember that I was getting married. I met my husband at the age of 29. And in Nigeria, 29 is like you are hitting that level where you feel like you're hitting 30 and you're a young girl, you feel like, okay, what's happening? I dated quite a lot of people, but for whatever reason, we just broke up. I just wasn't interested. So meeting him at 29, I was like, okay, this guy is cool and all that. So, and I wasn't demanding those things I wanted. So I always complained that my husband doesn't take me out to dinner, we don't do stuff. So I think I wasn't paying attention to those important things to me. I was willing to submerge or suppress those needs. So I wasn't waiting for the person that would be giving me gifts because I wasn't getting any serious gifts. But he was a mature, responsible person, ready to settle down. So that was enough for me. But now that I'm married, I'm asking, take me out to dinner now. He's like, it's wahala. Birthday now, give me something, it's wahala. But at that point, I met. It was not in your. It was not in my. It was not priority. But I was willing to suppress that. So but is that a bad thing?
It depends on what you want out of life. It also depends on who you are as a person. So for some people, they are okay taking away those things. For them, the most important thing is that he loves me. He's a good father to my children, and that's enough. For others who,
those perks are so important.
They're important to them. For me, it's important to me, basically. So I wouldn't have settled if I didn't see it because I had gone through. So one thing I noticed is people who go through homes that have everything, intact, like mother, father are there. There are certain things that are not in their consciousness. They are not. They don't see it coming. But if you have a child who has gone through what I went through, I saw like bad behavior being replayed. So I could tell very easily that this is not what I wanted for myself. I saw my daughter recently composing a song, and the song was, she wants a man that will love her the way her father loves her mom. I cried in the bathroom. Like, she was writing the lyrics, she was singing it, and I was just wondering, what are you singing? Because she sings like me. What are you singing? And then I heard the lyrics, I was like, whoa, okay, all right. So it depends on what you want as a person. If you can manage, it's fine. Marriage is marriage.
Although I think you're not the example we're talking about. For most girls, for most young girls, there's this lack of clarity. When they're making these decisions. Some people just want the wedding. They don't know, they don't care. They have a picture of a picture-perfect spouse for the society. They don't know what their inner peace, happiness require. And you're doing well, you're a career person. For some people, it's even economic empowerment to find a spouse. So as a mirror then, I saw a lot of sisters who settled for marriage. I remember one of our classmates, it was even a norm that, you're not even interested in marrying, you're not open to people within school, and it was about you being proud. You will end up sad. You will not find a good spouse kind of thing. So sisters, and you find a brother will be dating a sister, you bring her, she's still in school, you're talking down at her. You say, our daddy were kind of arrangement, where you are, some people will now come and your love language is now seem to be disrespectful. If you call your husband, maybe in your own privacy, some things they say, and then they bring that into a relationship and they sort of religionized it. Now I'm talking to my own people. They sort of religionized and made it seem, I'm like, no. In Islam, the Prophet's example of romance and respect for spouse is the best. So why are you looking up and down and looking like you cannot talk to your spouse, you are confused? In fact, women around the Prophet had opportunity to express themselves. If you're in a relationship and you're not happy about something your spouse did, in the most articulate and strong words, you can reject it. And we have the examples plenty in the class. And somebody now can say, I'm not an example of a Muslim. I just told myself, I said, in the four corners of this university, may no brother see me.
Going back to this good night, goodbye. So, because it's nice that we're sharing our stories, because isn't all perfect? I mean, I'm complaining that I wasn't taken out to dinner, but I've been to enough dinners. I've gone to enough restaurants to last me a lifetime with all my girlfriends. Every 2 weeks, we're going to dinner. So maybe that was one of the reasons I was willing to compromise. But we're all different in different experiences. So you must know where you are per time. So, but how do you know a good from a bad based on what Blessed CEO was saying?
Yeah, but can I just add to yours as well, which is, marriage is also a journey and people grow. And just like we were talking about in bed, when you want to be cuddled or not cuddled, and eventually you make sacrifices, your husband has grown with you and he understands that there's some things that he likes, and he's done some of those things that, you know, he was not comfortable doing in the beginning. So that's just the journey of marriage. And that's why it is important, again, to be with a kind person. Because only a kind person, only a kind person will even give room for that conversation to happen in the first place. So even if, you know, your self-esteem was a problem at that time when you get married, if you marry a kind person, they are there willing to help you grow and develop yourself and grow. You asked the second question.
So way back to what Blessing was saying, that the good men are the ones that are not so attractive, they're boring, they like the...
I don't know if by physicality you can tell who a good man is. A good man is a person who is a good person that does good things. A bad person is a person with a bad character, simple. But I also understand what she means by, and I know we've talked about it here when we talked about kind men. Many men sent messages, which is, yes, but you disrespect us. You call us weak men because we are kind. And that is something we have, especially in Nigeria, because this is where I know. I don't know of other countries. But in Nigeria, we really look at men who take the time to be nice, to be kind, to be considerate.
Or
as
you
weak
yourself
men.
are not kind.
Yes, we see them, because also we see every time that when we see a man that is being aggressive, we're like,
that's a man who showed up like he's the man.
There's some kind men who shall catch you.
Yes, and that's the thing.
Some
being
of them
kind
are tough.
is not stupidity, it's not foolishness. It just means that I'm going to give enough consideration for you. But one thing with kind people too, when you finally get to that point, okay, they will just hands off you, and then you'll be begging like in your
We need to wrap up on this.
Okay, I think the lady in question, she nailed it when she said that women are the problem of women. We are our own problem. You know, society has made it in such a way that, just like Miriam said, the men who are seen to be aggressive are seen as the man, you know? And so that is all we see. And while in your heart you want somebody to love you and understand you, but what will people say if you bring this man and he's cutting yam in the kitchen and your friends walking, you don't turn him to a person where they cook. Now in they wash baby diaper. Now in they do this, I don't turn him to a woman wrap. I don't put him for bottle. So because of that mindset, you're not like, I need somebody that would stand up and say no and allow me to do all the suffer. When you now get in, and the suffering starts, it becomes a different ballgame. So we are the society, now we the people, we are the problem. So, but if we can teach our children to be, like she said, be kind, be nice, be respectable, so that wherever you find yourself, whether I don't have to hide from cutting yam for you because of what my neighbors will say. You're my wife. I want to help you out in the kitchen. It's okay. And it will make people start feeling that I am weak because I'm cutting yam for my wife in the kitchen. So we should own our space. I am a man, like Oga has been the one taking care of the children since they resumed this new school, baits them in the morning, dresses them up. It doesn't mean he's a weak man. If a friend comes to the house and decides to say, your husband is a weak man, I will wash you.
Okay, we don't hear.
They are the one enjoying it.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue. Please, let's take messages on Facebook. I'll take a phone call when we come back. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about how do you know the good from the bad, and you know that if the good men are the ones that are really, they are the ones that come across as boring, and the bad ones are the ones that come across as good. But there's an angle we've not touched, where the fine-looking men, women like those ones because they think they're very good in the other room. You know, you see a man is well chiseled.
No, it's the bad
tall.
guy. The bad guy.
The bad guy. It looks like that's what I meant to say. The bad guy. It looks bad, terrible. That he's going to. This guy will mess you up in this place, and you turn you over, and you'll be in cloud 9, and everything will be.
Yes, Mariah, is this you?
Hey. So, I'm just saying what people are saying now. I'm acting like they're acting. Please, it's not me.
What you people said behind the show.
So is it those bad guys? Are they the ones that are good in that other side?
Miriam will let us know. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Nima was saying she hasn't spoken, but so I've heard that conversation too. And for me, a man who is not kind will not know how to give pleasure. Because he thinks it's a competition, he needs to prove himself, and then he will do everything he thinks in the books will show that I'm a man. So I'll go for hours on end, no matter how the other person is feeling, you know. Or I will do things, I will show, yes, I will, you know, I don't know if I can use the word, I'll go hard and strong, and yet, you know, the person that you're supposed to be doing with is not enjoying it. But a kind person, because it comes with, kindness is not just in one thing, it's in everything that you do. So that sort of person is watching to see, are you enjoying this? How do you respond? What more of, you know, what can I do more of and less of? Are you okay? Are you, you know, the other one like, yes,
considerate.
I'm done, I'm the man.
Yeah.
Next.
That's not what we want.
No,
so, but a kind guy would be considerate of your feelings, how you're feeling per second. He wants to know if he's hitting the spot or he's not. I think this call Philip. Are we still on the breakfast show? Come on, Philip, are you there? I think we lost that call. Okay.
So I don't know how women consider weakness, kindness weakness. I think a person that is confident with their kindness it is visible because they'll be kind to people around them generally. Not just you. They'll be kind to people that, you know, family members, they're immediate. You'll be able to tell. There was one thing I used to look out for in people. How do you relate with everybody? Some people will stand like this when they scratch their car. You want to marry me? We cannot be doing that now. Or maybe an attempt to calm you down at the point of anger.
You scream and say,
wait there until I finish. The relationship has ended. Please don't come to our house again. You know, that kind of thing. So for me, kindness, consideration, and even when a person drops a tear, because the very first trial in my marriage, in fact, it happened the week of the wedding. My husband cried to inform me about it. And I was touched. I was like, the pain you reach like that. I don't even, you know, yet. And I think that's some of those things, subtle respect, courtesy that people show others. Because when you enter the real thing, when life happens,
you need a kind person on your side.
You need somebody that can hold your hand. No one that will say, my family say that. But I want this thing can happen to you. I
want to disagree with Mariam a bit. Because, you know, I have dated a few bad guys, bad-looking guys. These guys are very romantic. There's just something about them that's just, you know, they just know what to do because they're experienced. They understand the kind of things you like, you know. So maybe it's not all bad guys that might not be as good as you think.
Okay, so the thing is, women like to keep their adrenaline pumping at all times. That's what the bad guys give to you because they are not predictable. You call them and they don't pick your call and you're wondering, you're constantly guessing. So that keeps you like, hey, did I please him today? Did I do this today? And at a certain age, it works when you still want somebody to make you. When you start getting to 30-something, 40, you don't need somebody to give you an attack. You need a kind, calm person who is stable. That's what you need.
Hallelujah.
And I also realized that I dated quite a few, not compared to you, but I dated quite a few. And I know that you see those calm, nerdy, calculating guys, they are badder, but they don't make noise. They don't shout. Their own bad is in observation. They observe you. They know exactly where to hit it. You see those ones? They come at the very bad guy. They make noise. You see them having conversations on the table. I give her 5, 7, 8, 9. Go and ask the babe. Not do anything. He not touch anywhere. You know? So those ones that are calmer and more calculative when they handle you, when they are ready to handle you, you see the difference. But we're always in a hurry because we feel that adrenaline rush is what we need. And so these ones are bad and all of that.
And just to respond to, you know, when you say that these bad guys understand what to do because they have experience. You're right. But they're doing it more for accolades. Do you understand? They're doing it for themselves. So still, no matter how experienced they are, they still leave you with a bad taste in your mouth. You know, you somehow feel used. Like,
every day
I thought we were
confused.
supposed to be in this together. And then, you know, I was reading something recently. It was so funny. She says, I've been dating this guy for 6 months. just yesterday, the guy looked at me and said, sis, how come you don't have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Those are bad guys.
Yes.
So here I am thinking I'm in a relationship. Bad guy has moved. You're dating yourself. So those are the things, you know. You understand all the things to do surface level to make you feel a certain way. But when it comes to the deep stuff,
some girls like the rush. They think that, you know, I'll win him eventually. They know he's a bad guy. They know he wants an open relationship. I'm dating you, but I can date 25 others. And they know they will not be there hoping. I think that's stupidity. So you too, even in my youth, I don't think I had time for stress. I wanted somebody who wanted me. If you know, don't bother me. You know, don't stress me. One day my husband jokingly said, when I married, you were so thin. Now you're so robust. Now you look like a woman. I said, if you don't leave me for my leg past because I don't plan to be
just like what Mariam said earlier. So a girl will go and to boyfriend's house, you cook, you clean, you and your wife eating, and the boy will greet you. Your husband will enjoy you. And like, what?
That's a bad guy.
That's a bad guy. He has told you that he's not your husband.
You can please. I would like to take some calls on this because it's important. I'm enjoying this conversation because a lot of young people, especially those that are in their mid-30s, as you said, I like what you said earlier that you've passed that stage of the butterflies or that adrenaline pumping. Let me know, is this guy, is this kind? I want us to now help the kind man. Because these kind men are out there. But they sometimes feel used. They feel intimidated by these women. By these bad girls. So how can a kind man attract a kind woman? How can a kind man, you know, observe enough to know somebody like him? Because some of them are always attracted to the opposite.
Yes.
So how do we help a kind man right now?
So it's two ways. The kind man also wants a rush of adrenaline. And you will see somebody beside him who has been his friend from childhood, who is stable, who is like him. They are both nerdy. They go to class together, they read together. But he will not be attracted to that person because there's no rushing towards that person. But he will not see an Ayangba and feel attracted to the Ayangba. Unfortunately for you, Ayangba does not want you. Ayangba wants their other Yoruba demon. So there's always a mix. But I think as men begin to get older and they want to settle down, they start looking out for certain things. So as a kind person, you can hide your kindness a bit. So let me give you an instance. I don't know if he did it purposely, but I knew that my guy was termed bad guy in school at the time for whatever reason. But when I met him, I saw a good guy. But outsiders were seeing him as a bad person. Guy. So he was a good guy, but he was coded. So he would do the yo. He would follow them. But when he's going to but when he's going to class, he will wear his trousers, his shirt, he will wear his tie. When I'm coming to visit him, I'll come with my books. If I don't bring my books, he'll send me back. So I saw the good that others didn't see. So I don't know how. Yes, I don't know how you can. You know, just protect yourself.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back to wrap up this conversation, stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about relationships, our Feel Good Friday conversation. So my husband has this really close friend. Let's take some messages. I hope you're
We've not seen.
No, okay. That's,
I don't think we're online.
Facebook is on YouTube. Oh, so sad.
So let's apologize.
So I have a friend. We apologize for our viewers on Facebook and Instagram. We do apologize. And YouTube. We do apologize that we couldn't stream live today. So my husband has this friend. Same childhood, same background, same pedigree. So, I mean, and when I knew he was single, I tried to hook him up with my own friend, who I could also vouch for. She's my girlfriend, like Timo. You know? So I hooked them up, and she was like willing to try. Okay, no problem. They went for it. I think they tried to go on a date. But then the guy just said he wasn't interested. And my girlfriend was asking me, what happened now? Just one date and everything. So now I found out, I asked my husband, go and find out from your friend, what happened? You know, when Brown came back, like they said, leave that matter. This guy is looking for, like, your...
Sha.
Yeah, yes. You know, because he's a calm guy. I thought he want to marry somebody like me, or, you know. No, he was looking for your Kim Kardashian kind of blonde, fine, young, bone straight kind of person. I said,
will not be confused.
Where would he find that kind of person? Hey, so
he will find.
That is what was attracting him. And I found that really shocking. Because so when you say opposites attract, but can his personality as a calm, cool, collected guy sustain that kind of person?
Let's not be mismatched.
There's this program that they used to do where Millionaire Matchmaker is called, and she used to have like older men who insist that they want the girls to be in their 20s, they want them to be a certain way. And she would like to, she would advise them and say, given your personality and the sort of work that you do, I don't think this person is good for you. But then what she would do, she would get them like 2 options. So she would get them exactly who they wanted, and then someone she felt that was more appropriate for them. And they would go on dates. And eventually, of course, the excitement in the beginning, and then eventually when life becomes real, they find out that that person cannot fit into their life, then it wanes, and then the other person that they have. So some people need to also go through that thing. Also, there's another thing where men feel, men like to conquer. So for a man who many times has been told, oh, you're kind, you're nice, you're not, it's something it's an achievement for him to conquer a girl like that, that looks like that people would not have thought would be attracted to him. So sometimes some people make the mistake, they now get married to women like that, and we find them struggling because in the, we'll be looking at them like, how did you even end up with this person? But for me, because I'm raising a boy child, I want my child to be kind, but I also want him to be smart. I want him to go for someone that really likes him for who he is, because there's also the tendency for people like that to be preyed upon. But a woman who understands, sees all the gifts and the values and thinks, okay, I can come and just use and leave. So a kind man also needs to be smart, he needs to be wise. Like your kindness is a whole gift, and some people may take advantage of that.
Stupidity.
Yes, kindness is not stupidity, kindness is not foolishness.
So don't use your girlfriend to do wife and use your wife to do girlfriend. There's something we used to say. So the person who you're supposed to marry, you feel, I'm not really attracted, I'm not feeling that gym towards this person. And then you go for the one that you feel gym towards. And when the chips are down, you now realize that because opposites attract, but it doesn't sustain. That's what I've come to realize over time. It doesn't sustain. Those differences you have always come to play in the relationship long term, in the marriage long term. You now realize that we're 2 different people now. I don't even understand why somebody takes toothpaste from the bum, the other person takes toothpaste from the neck, and then every time we're fighting over the toothpaste because they are different people. So I think we all need to be wise at the end of the day. At your, in your young age, 20s, explore, date people, meet people, know people. When it's time to settle down, go for that person that will give you peace of mind. That's all you need.
There's
you have to run.
Okay. I've not said anything.
Please,
go ahead. So there's an extreme importance for you to start to think about who you want to have children for or children with.
Yes.
Have that clarity even when you are carrying everywhere, so that you don't end up in the wrong place. You don't want to end up with someone you're apologizing to your children every day about the sort of father or mother that you gave them.
Amen. So on that note, that's all we can take on this Feel Good Friday kind of show. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Bye for now.